Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Tuesday, November 12th, 2019, and again, we find ourselves in the final hour of the market. I think the prices that are just as close to the close of the day are the most valid prices. And the reason that I say that is during the day, you have the algorithms, you have the day traders battling it out. I consider it a lot of noise. At the end of the day, you have the large financial institutions, you have the market makers coming in, and there's a lot of volume that comes in that last 2-3 minutes. And so, in my opinion, that's the smart money coming in at the end of the day to move the prices where they are the most valid prices. And therefore, those are the prices that I like to make my buying and selling decisions from. I don't like to make my buying and selling decisions during the day, during the prices that I consider noise. So anyway, let me see. Evan, hello, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. Good afternoon to you too. So, okay, looks like I'm coming through okay. We've had a bit of reversal in the Dow today. We were up earlier, now we're down. Dow's down 29 points, down about 1/10%. The NASDAQ is up 7 points, 0.08%, and the S&P is up 0.89%. So pretty flatlined on the NASDAQ and the S&P. So anyway, I appreciate everybody coming today. I always appreciate you coming, spending your time, investing your time with me. And I definitely hope you're getting something out of it. You're learning some good trading principles, some good trading psychology principles, and that it's helping your trading. So, hey, what's going on, Jackson? Jackson's our friend from Australia. So good morning to you, sir. Hope you had a good night, and hope you have a wonderful day. So, all right. Well, we're having a pretty good day today. We've had some good movement on majority of our positions today. So we'll get to those in a bit. Let's see, how are we doing here? Okay. So anyway, listen, the format for today, first of all, we're going to go ahead and run the U.S. legal disclaimer. We're going to get that out of the way. We're going to come back. We're going to take a look at all my current positions. We're going to talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, what methodology I used to buy them, and then more importantly, how I'm going to manage them going forward. After that, we're going to do a few minutes on trader psychology. As you guys know, you can be an expert in technical analysis and still be a failed trader because even though you're a specialist or an expert in technical analysis, you're not following your rules. And you know, I talk about this every day, but it's so important, everybody. The importance of having a plan, following your plan, not deviating from your plan, sticking on point. There's a lot of times where you don't want to stick to your plan, and that's really when you should stick to your plan. When we have big gains, big losses, it tends to circumvent our plans because the emotions come in, and that messes up what we plan to do in the first place. So, in my opinion, the best way to not have that happen to you is to position size conservatively. The larger the position size you have, the more it's going to amplify your emotions, and therefore the more likely it is going to keep you from trading your plan. So we're going to talk about that. After that, we are going to go down through the stocks in my watch list. We're going to go down through each one by one. We're going to look for support levels, resistance levels. We're going to look for indicators like MACD, RSI, moving averages. And the way that I look at trading, everybody, when I see an indicator that gives a buy signal, that's good because I look at that indicator as a potential group of buyers coming in. So if you want a stock to go up, you want to be in the company of other buyers. And therefore, logically, it's best to wait for a combination of indicators or a combination of different groups of buyers to come in so that you can be in with as many other buyers as possible. And it makes sense, right? If you want a stock to go up, you want to be with as many buyers as possible. Therefore, I really like to look for a combination or a confluence of indicators happening at the same price level. Then That's step one, looking for a confluence of valid indicators coming together. Second, even though you have those valid indicators coming together, you also have to take into consideration the risk to reward on your trade, given the technicals that you have both to the upside and the downside. Sometimes you can have a great trade, you have a lot of indicators happening at the same time, but it may be extended based upon your RSI parameters, your Keltner channel parameters, and in that case, you kind of have to let the trade go. So, you know, you always have to have more possible reward based on technicals than your resistance to the downside based on technicals. So step one, look for a combination of signals. Step two, make sure that you have a good risk to reward ratio based upon the technicals that you are using. So we're going to go down through, we're going to look for all that. When I go down through the list, I'll check off some, you know, potential candidates, kind of a first brush go through of the watch list. At the end of the day, I'll go through those candidates that we marked even more carefully, and you know, kind of go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and see if there's something that we want to buy. Right, it's something that I want to buy. So that's the plan. And then if I do find something at the very end of the day, I will buy it as close to the close as possible. After the market closes, if you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know. If you need any clarification on anything I discuss, please let me know. If you'd like me to take a look at a stock symbol, I'm happy to do that, give you my humble opinion. And then also, you know, if you see a particular stock symbol that you think might be interesting or helpful for the group, please put it in the chat and put an exclamation mark or put a asterisk by it, so that way I when I go through the chats, I can see whether or not it's time sensitive or not. If it's not time sensitive, I'll discuss it after the market closes. But if it is time sensitive, you know, I want to take a look at it before the market closes. So, all right, well, that's the plan. So anyway, if you guys could hang on, I'll be back in about 40 seconds after the U.S. legal disclaimer. Thanks. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right, thanks for holding through that with me. Hey, by the way, just before we went live, what do you call it, where you broadcast on YouTube, like, it wasn't opening. And so if it doesn't open, there's no live broadcast. So I tried a couple times and luckily got it to go. But you know, one day, if you come here and for some reason I'm not on, you can rest assured that I had some technical difficulties. And so luckily we got this to work today, but going forward in the future, if you're like, where is Greg? You'll know I probably had a technical difficulty. So hopefully that won't happen, but if it does, you'll know why. Wayne K, what's going on? Just a little while ago, I said, listen, if you have any stocks that look interesting or maybe helpful for the group, please point them out. And Wayne, like a boss, let us know about Chipotle yesterday, and it was a wonderful trade. So we'll go through that. But Wayne, thank you. Appreciate that, my friend. And I know you had the position as well, so fantastic. So when we go through, we'll take a look and see what we want to do with it. But that was fantastic. We had a great trade on Chipotle today. So thank you, Wayne. Jackson says, agreed about the rules regarding PayPal yesterday. I didn't get out, and when putting the order in, the mind says, but what if it goes your way? But my rules say cut it, so I cut it. Glad I did. Yeah, I noticed that. Seems like we did make the right decision on PayPal when we bought it here on this nice V2. Yesterday, it did go up nicely, but it rejected the 50 RSI above and closed below. So that was the sell signal. And good thing sold it up there because now it's given back a lot. So yeah, good point. Good point, Jackson. Hey, William, how you doing, sir? William's our friend from Hawaii. Hope everything's well over there. Hope your dog Cooper's doing well. And thank you for coming, bud. Appreciate it. Good speaking with you the other night. Hi, Frank. How you doing, Frank? Frank says, hello, Greg and all. A great quote from Charlie Munger. More important than the will to win is the will to prepare. Oh, I like that. That is true. Everybody wants to win, but you do have to put in the work. And in trading, you have to put in the work with your technical analysis. Get good at that, looking at risk to reward. But again, I sound like a broken record, but don't forget the psychological aspect of trading. Don't forget I want to deviate from my plan. If my emotions are all amplified up, I'm probably going to. But I'll tell you what, guys, you could literally hire a teenager, give them the rules of your trading, and say, don't even let me near this computer. The keyboard is off limits. Here's what you're supposed to do. And I think you'd make more money, to be honest with you, because they don't care, right? They're a third party. They're just, okay, I can get out here, and okay, I get in here. I'm not supposed to get in here. I can't remember who it was in Market Wizards. One of the Market Wizards was interviewed, and he said something to the same effect. He said, I think I could have hired a teenager to manage my account, and I'd be up another $100 million. So, Murat, hey, how you doing, Murat? Good to see you, my friend. Murat's our friend from Norway. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming. Murat says, hey, Greg, listen to the podcast about your dad. Crazy. Yeah, that was a pretty crazy podcast. I'll tell you what, I appreciate you listening to it, but I'll tell you, it was fun for me. It not so much when I was doing the podcast, but when I listened to it, it was fun. It was fun to, go back down memory lane, and remembering all those things, and remembering when he told me and all that. So yeah, it was fun. But thank you for listening. Frank says, had an amazing 9% return on AAP based on risk to reward. Really? Let's take a look. Oh, you were short, I guess, Frank. I hope. I think so. Oh, you shorted it before earnings, I imagine. Congratulations. Glad that worked out for you. Jackson says, please be a broken record, Greg. Yeah, I know. I'm a broken record every day. Apologize for you guys, but I do it with love. I burn the calories because I think it's really important. Murat, I was nailing my long oil trade today. At some point, I got distracted and missed the momentum getting weaker and weaker. Then it just spilled. I took a small loss from a profit. It went down more. Okay, well, if it's any consolation, if you do have a win and it turns in if you have a small profit and it turns into a loss, that's never fun. But if it does go down more, it's kind of satisfying at the very least, right? Dr. Long, hey, how you doing, Doc? Hey, Greg, lucky on ROK, sold 201s. Whoa. Whoa, whoa. All right, well, here's two examples. AAP, Frank bet on it going down, it looks like, and Dr. Long bet on it going up. And with a name like Dr. Long, I would imagine he would be betting on the bull side. So you got out at 201, so you got out right about halfway. Good for you. So it looks like you got out right about at the open. Fantastic, fantastic. All right, well, let's see how we're doing over here. All right, you guys ready for this? Go through the stocks, see what's happening. All right, thanks again to Wayne. Wayne pointed this out yesterday. This is a stock that I do not follow, but we had the trifecta of a deep dip buy going on here yesterday. We bought it yesterday here at 743.19. The reason I bought it, several reasons. The previous day, we closed below the 30. Yesterday when we bought it, it closed above the 30. Yesterday when we bought it, it was below the third ATR channel intraday, closed above the third ATR channel at the end of the day, and also bounced off the 200-day moving average. So, this is a good signal here, right? And I might also mention that, see the low we had here, then we went back up into the range, then we went below. Let me put a line here for you guys. So this is the bottom of the range. 2 days ago, we did break down to a new range. Yesterday, we were in a new range to the downside and then reversed back up over the previous range, over this low here. So under 30, over 30, bounced off the 200, under the third ATR channel, over the third ATR channel, and a false breakout to the downside. This area right in here is the false breakout, because here's the low, range, breaks to the new range, back up into the old range. So this is a false breakout to the downside, which is good. Bounce off the 200, under 30, over 30, bounce under the third ATR channel, over the third ATR channel. And we had a wonderful trade on this. Look at this gap up. I hit 2 profit targets. You can see my profit target is here, but actually it gapped up over that. So this is really what it looks like. I got out here and I got out here. Now, the question is, what do we do with it? So it got as high as approximately a 44 RSI. It did reject this downward sloping -1 ATR channel, which is a little concerning to me. Gaps are always concerning to me. On the plus side, we are holding the 10-day EMA. On the negative side, currently, even though we are now currently higher than yesterday's close, we are currently lower than today's open. And this is generally a bit of a bearish signal when that happens. And again, we're higher than yesterday's close, but currently we are lower than today's open. And this is a bit of a pin bar reversal, or as Dr. Alexander Elder calls it, a bearish kangaroo tail. And we got rejected at the downward sloping 1 ATR channel. This is a tough one. It's up close to 2% on the day. We've had this downward momentum. Now we've had 2 big, strong days up. My inclination here is to lock this in because of this pin bar reversal, because of this bearish reversal bar, because of the rejection of the -1 ATR channel and this big gap. Remember, gaps like to be filled. The market doesn't really like spaces with gaps to go untested. So at the moment, I am leaning to the side of just locking this in on a 1-day trade. But we'll see what happens. Hey Bing He, how you doing? Good to see you. Frank says, oops, it was AAP. Oh, okay. Well, let's check that out then. Oh, APP. I don't have APP. I do have AAP. Let me know the name of the company, Frank, because I can't pull up APP. Merritt says, it looks like the efficient market hypothesis is completely messed up. You had a positive slippage on CMG. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Nice when that happens, right? Because my profit target was actually down. My first profit target was down here somewhere. I just erased it. Hey, Marco. Good to see you, my friend. Hope everything is well over there in Europe. Thank you for coming by. If there's anything I can help you with, Marco, don't hesitate, okay? Wayne says AKE profits. What does that mean, Wayne? I'm not sure I understand. All right. Let's get on to our next position here. All right, Johnson & Johnson. I did buy Johnson & Johnson back here on the 5th of November. I bought it because we had a higher low V1. You can see here we closed out below the 1 ATR channel. We rallied back into the ATR channel. MACD went positive. I like that as well. Then we had a couple days down. Then the day we bought it, we washed out. We bought it here on the 5th. We washed out the previous low, and then we closed above the previous day's low. So here's the low, here's the close. On the day we bought it, it washed it out to the downside. And why that's relevant is that the market went down, tested those levels, didn't like them, reversed back up, and triggered that V1 for us. We had 3 days to the upside. Of course, as you guys know, I scale out every time it moves up a certain amount. So I was able to take some profits here, and I think we got one right near the top. It did move 1 ATR away from my entry. This is the distance. 1 ATR from here to here is more than 1 ATR. And generally, when I move more than 1 ATR, then I'm going to start to trail the position so that I don't give it all back. Yesterday we had an inside bar. Looks like right now we are below yesterday's close. So if we close below we are below yesterday's low. If we close below yesterday's low today, my trading plan, right, doesn't mean it's the right one, but that's how I trade. I'm going to go ahead and just lock this in. We bought here. I'll be locking in the majority of the shares here, but because I phased out, I also got some at higher levels. So again, have to wait till the end of the day. But if we close under 131.33, I'm going to go ahead, just lock this trade in, take it off. Oh, Wayne says take. Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like too, Wayne. That's kind of what I feel like too. Especially, well, right now it's even, but I mean, you do have a gap. You do have a bearish reversal bar or pin bar reversal, or like I said, as Dr. Alexander Eldit calls it, a bearish kangaroo tail. So, you know, and we've had 2 days up. Obviously, it doesn't mean you can't go up 3 or 4 days, but in the downtrend, after a couple days up, you're starting to pull it a little bit. So yeah, this was a great trade. This is a great trade. I'm really glad you pointed this out, Wayne, because without it, I would not have taken everything. Hey, Jesse, what's going on, sir? Good to see you, my friend. Jesse says, hey, Greg and gang. Thanks for coming, Jess. Appreciate it. And please let me know if there's anything I can help you with, okay? Frank says, got to get this tiny keyboard right. It's APPS. All right. Whoa. Fantastic. 12% up, Frank. Very, very nice. When did you buy it and why did you buy it? All right. The SPY trade. I know I talk about this every day, guys, but in case we have some new viewers, I do want to explain. I do buy the SPY, SPY, ETF every day at the close of the day, and I sell it first thing the next morning. And you might ask, why would you do that? And I'll tell you why. This is based upon a back-tested, long-term back-tested study from Liz Ann Saunders, Appy Spoke Invest on Twitter. But with this backtest, there are 2 options. Option number 1 is you can buy the SPY at the open each day and then sell it at the close every day. Buy at the open, sell at the close. Buy at the open, sell at the close. If you did this every day since 1993, you'd have actually returned a negative 13.9% on your money for all your troubles. If you did the opposite, however, which is what I do, and buy the SPY at the close each day, sell it first thing the next morning. So buy at the close, sell the next morning. Buy at the close, sell the next morning. If you had done this every day from 1993, you would actually return a positive 634 0.2%. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. We know that. That goes for any trading methodology. But if I'm going to invest capital in something, I would rather invest capital in something that has a good track record, long-term track record, than something that does not. And, you know, what I find interesting about this is, you know, we know the market's gone up since 1993. And so what this means is all the gains in the S&P 500 since 1993 have come from people bidding up the price in the after hours, people bidding it up in the pre-market, and then selling it into the open. And here's the chart. I love this chart. It shows you if you have a good back-tested long-term approach with an edge and you can stay in it and trade it for the long term, what it can do for you. There are ups and downs in between. That's just normal part of statistics. Even if you have an edge, just like casinos have a built-in edge, right? But it doesn't mean they don't have losing days or losing weeks and so forth. But in the long run, their edge plays out. And the way to stay in the way for you to use an approach and let it work for you in the long run is to be able to stay in the game. And the best way to stay in the game and keep trading is to position size correctly. Imagine if you would have started right here. You would have thought this was the worst trading approach ever. Imagine if you would have used tons of capital to do this. You really would have got hurt, and most likely you would not have continued. So the key is if you have a good long-term approach, position size correctly, trade for the long term. Okay, so with that being said, I did buy the SPY yesterday at the close at 308.35, sold it today at 308.75. So made 40 cents per share overnight. I will take it, right? This has worked out really, really well. I've been using this since February 26th. It's been very profitable. You know, in the month of May, I think I lost 80% of my overnight SPY trade. So, you know, it does have drawdowns, but again, remember looking at that chart, use it for the long term. I use a 10% position size every day, buying at the close, selling first thing the next morning. So anyway, glad that we got profit overnight there. Don't like this bar on the S&P. This looks pretty toppy, right? Looks pretty toppy. Tried to break out of this range here today, got rejected. Bearish kangaroo tail here, and we're very close to a bearish V1. See, here's day one, day two. If we close below yesterday's low, that will be a V1 to the downside. Also rejected the 70 RSI. None of this looks particularly bullish. All right, VIX. So, you know, I don't know why. I have a bit of an issue on the VIX symbol with Trade Navigator. If you guys remember, see, I bought it right here at 1859. And if you remember, my charts at the end of the day had closed there. And then after, at the end of the day, it downloaded, it came down here. I think what it did is it took the after hours price. So had the chart looked like this yesterday at the close, I would not have bought it. But the reason that I did buy it is that we bounced off the 30, and my charts at the moment was showing that it was a false breakout to the downside, that we went lower than this previous low and then closed back above it. So at the time, that's what my chart looked like. And then after it downloaded at the end of the day, I was like, why did I buy that? And then I went back and looked at the video with the chart, and I'm like, oh yeah, it did look like that. So anyway, we're to 29.79. If it closes under 30 today, I'm going to go ahead and just have to get out. That's my sell signal, right? So I bought it. It was above 30. And then, when it bounced basically off the 30, came back into the channel, and then again, my charts yesterday showed that it closed back above this low. So that was the reason that I bought it. But for some reason, this chart here, but needless to say, we're at 29.84. If it closes above, that was my initial stop anyway. So if it closes above 30, I'm going to keep it. If it closes below 30, I'm going to go ahead and just get out of the trade. Make sense? All right. Frank says, I do a lot of homework and search for potential setups. Well, I guess so. Well, Whoa, that is fantastic. I have not had a trade. I have not had a big day like that for a while, but very good. Um, we are up here against the third ATR channel. That's something to consider, but absolutely fantastic. Jackson says, funny, Greg, regarding VIX, I was going to ask you about that, having discussed a time in the past where there was a discrepancy in price as I didn't buy, but my chart showed completely different prices. Yeah, what I'm finding is Trade Navigator, not on any other stock but VIX, if it's down after hours, what you see is not the regular day, but you see what it looked like with the after hours price, which makes no sense, and it doesn't happen on any other chart. But I really looked at this last night and went, wait a minute, why did I buy this? And honestly, I would not have bought this here. I mean, it was still good that we bounced at the 30, and it's still good that we bounced at the third ATR channel, but I liked the idea that we had closed above this previous low, that we went down and back over, meaning a false breakout to the downside. But anyway, nothing I can do about it here other than following my plan. And my plan is if it closes below 30, get out. All right. Well, listen, this is the time of the podcast where I do like to talk about trader psychology. It's very important. It's the biggest skill that you could ever develop as a trader. It's going to have the most effect on whether or not you're a long-term successful and profitable trader. There's some really good Twitter channels out there that spend a lot of time and energy and burn a lot of calories on posting good trading words of wisdom. And one of the best ones on Twitter is Stephen Goldstein at AlphaMind 101. So if you have not subscribed to Stephen's podcast, I would really suggest, or podcast, to his Twitter channel, I would really suggest you do. And he does have a podcast, AlphaMind 101. It's fantastic. I was interviewed on there. Stephen is was a retired professional trader, and now he focuses attention on the importance of trading psychology. So whatever he posts, I like to read, and I think it's beneficial, and I think you should read it as well. So to everyone who has sent me messages following this tweet, thank you. It seems to have touched a raw nerve. We did an excellent interview with trader Merritt Black on topics related to themes brought up in the tweet. You can hear that here. So I have not listened to that, but let's see what he says. Stephen says, for almost 25 years, I earned my living as a professional trader. It was a fascinating job that I loved, but there were times too when it wrenched the very living soul and every ounce of self-esteem from me. The advertisers and gurus won't tell you that, right? There were times when it wrenched the very living soul and every ounce of self-esteem from me. The advertisers and gurus won't tell you that. And guys, it is so true. Trading is freaking hard. It is difficult. That's why very few people, a small percentage of people, can make it work. And I mean, I've been through this too. I'm got to be the worst trader in the world. Why am I doing this? Blah, blah, blah. I don't think there's a trader out there that does not go through this. We all go through drawdowns. We have to get used to losing. But my suggestion is if you are really following your rules and you have a drawdown, it's not a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of your ability. It's just that you are not in phase with the market at that time. And we're never in phase with the market all the time. If we were, you'd own every dollar in the world, I suppose. But it is difficult, guys. And if you realize how difficult it is, maybe it will make you a better trader because you'll be even that more attentive to following your plan. And if you don't have a plan in trading, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't think it's possible to succeed unless you get very, very lucky. But you have to give yourself a plan. You have to know that you're going to go through ups and downs emotionally. Those are going to happen. But the key is whether or not you let those emotions affect your trading. And it happens to the best of us, guys. It happens to the best of us. And, Stephen traded for 25 years. And, when he says it, you can believe it. So it's difficult. It's a very difficult way to make an easy living. If most people really knew what it took and the ups and downs and the disappointments and the frustration it took, they probably would never start trading. But if you have started trading, you're doing well, you want to get better, just realize there's going to be some tough times ahead and it's going to mess with your head, right? But get that plan, lock it down, position size correctly, follow that plan for the long term, and I think you'll do fine. And he's right. The advertisers and gurus won't tell you that. They make it sound very easy. Make $100,000 from your Lamborghini at the beach with 5 seconds a day. Not true, guys. And I don't know if there's a lot of gurus out there. I don't have any experience with them saying that it's easy. All of my trading coaches have said that it is very, very difficult to extract money out of this market. And so I am telling you guys, it is difficult. Nothing easy about it, so you have to work hard. So thanks, Steven. Appreciate that. Dr. Long says TLT is bottoming. You know what? I've been looking at TLT as well. We had this move down. We had 2 inside bars. We are back over the third ATR channel, which is positive. I don't really have a V1 or V2 to speak of. But whenever you get this pattern, when you get a down move and then you have a couple inside bars, it's winding up to do something. So anyway, let's go through. Let's see where we're at here. So VIX is still under 30, but it's hanging. So we'll just have to see here at the end of the day. Apple. All right, well, Apple has just been on a tear. It's just too high. We're above the third ATR channel. 90% of prices fail at the third ATR channel. However, if you're able to close above them, that means something really strong is going on. And Apple has just been in an uptrend. Difficult to mess with this. I would be very scared to short this. I would be very scared to go long this. All I can do is wait for a pullback into value to look for some kind of entries. I just need some kind of dip before I can get involved here. Remember I told you yesterday, the market goes up by the stairs and it goes down by the elevators. I've seen this hundreds of times where you have a move like this and 2 to 3 weeks of gains can be taken out literally in a couple days. So I just can't get involved in Apple at these levels. I need a pullback at very least into value. Adobe, similar. Not as strong as Apple. You can see Apple is closed above the third ATR channel. Adobe now has, Adobe has been above and below. Looks like it might be closing back into the third ATR channels. I mean, I want to short it. No, it doesn't. But it is showing some signs of topping. Again, I'd like to see it pull back into the value. I'd really like to see it pull back into the value zone, the 2 green lines, and also a bounce off of the V1, V2, ideally bounce off of the 200-day, but nothing there. Micro devices looking a little toppy. We go up, get rejected, up, rejected, up, rejected, and up, rejected. We're still over the third ATR channel, barely. We're still over the 70, so it's very strong, but again, I want to wait for a pullback into value by that dip. Amazon was earlier in the day. It had intraday triggered a V2, not a great one. We went above the channel, above 1 ATR channel, back into value, which I need. Then it had this V2 earlier because the close a couple days ago was here, this pink line, but it rejected that, close below. So there is, right now at least, there is no V1, V2. And in addition to that, I'm not sure I would have taken it anyway, because even though we were above the 1 ATR channel, came in, there was no sideways movement. It was down, 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 and then up, more of a V. I like to see it come down, stabilize for a couple days, then have a V1, V2. So it doesn't look like anything on Amazon right now. Boeing had that huge day up yesterday, did reject the 200-day moving average. If we could come back into the value zone about halfway of this big bar, look for a V1, V2, that might be interesting. Caterpillar is down today. You know, this is another one of these high flyers, very, very, very high. Looks like we've lost the 70 RSI. Looks like we potentially have lost the third ATR channel. You know, that is showing some weakness, but I don't want to short here. I just want to wait for a pullback into value. Dow Jones, again, we went above 70 today. Looks like we're going to close below 70. We were above the third ATR channel. Looks like we're going to close below the third ATR channel. You know, this is bearish here. I mean, it's a bullish long-term chart, but this price action here is bearish. Probably at the very best, we're going to go sideways, if not down. But again, I need a pullback. Walt Disney, of course, had really great earnings, sold off on earnings. Yesterday down, today up with the, today's the first day that the Disney Plus website is up. So just too high for me up here. Just have to be patient, sit on my hands, wait for a pullback to value. Etsy, geez, just down, 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 down. We're to 2379 RSI. You know, for me to get interested in Etsy, at the very least, it has to have a close above the 30 RSI. Ford did break above the 200 yesterday. Now it looks like we've lost it. If it does go down, we'll make a lower high than this. And if Mount Doji's listening, you know, when you have a lower high, you need to wash out that first low before you would take another V1 or V2. So down in this range is where I look for a V1, V2. Facebook, you know, we talked about this yesterday. Nice move up, waiting for it to pull back into value. Was looking really good. This is what I was waiting for. However, did not really get the 2 days down. And this is a beautiful V2. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 1 washes out day 1's low. But today it is a V2. It certainly looks like it's going to close above 2 days ago's close. But I can't buy this high. See, that's unfortunate, right? And that's what I was talking about earlier. You get your signal, but then where's your risk to reward? My risk would be down here, halfway the washout bar. This is a long way. My reward would have to be twice that to the upside. So anyway, unfortunately, I really liked this dip. I was waiting for this dip, but I needed to see some sidewards movement. We did have 1 day of sidewards movement, and then we went down again. So anyway, that one's the one that got away, but it is a good example of a move up, waiting for a dip and looking for a bounce. 5 below, down, you know, I'd have to have a 30 RSI or something to get interested. Gold, geez, you know, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. We did close under the 1 ATR channel. So if you close under the 1 ATR channel, ideally you want to have a move back up in, a couple days down, and then a higher low V1, V2. This is a beautiful V1, right? We went down, we held a couple days. Today washed out yesterday's low. Looks like we're closing above yesterday's close, obviously. And we are closing back in the 1 ATR channel. We also washed out this low and this low. So this today was a false breakout to the downside and reversal back up. It's a very difficult choice here because it is a lower low. So I'll mark that. We'll come back to it. Gold under the third, over the third, kind of a subpar V1. I like the gold miners much better than that, actually. Goldman Sachs, just too high up here. Nothing I can do. I need a pullback. Home Depot had a V2. Here's day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 2 washes out day 1, day 3. Looks like might close above day 1's close, but it's a lower low V1, V2. It's holding the 50 RSI currently, but you know, we came down, we did move sideways for a few days. I'll mark it. Biotech too high. Intel just too high, need a pullback. Russell 2000 too high, need a pullback into value. Johnson & Johnson we do have. We bought this back here on this higher low V1 here. We scaled out, scaled out, scaled out. Now we've had a couple couple days down. Looks like today may close below yesterday's low. That will be a signal for me to get out and lock in profits on this trade. Coca-Cola, I am getting interested in Coca-Cola. Not today, but we're getting close to the third ATR channel. We're getting close to 30 RSI. If we could get a confluence of the 30 RSI and that third ATR channel, I'd be interested. But I just need to wait, I think, a couple more days. Lockheed Martin, really nice, big, strong day up there today. We're over the 1 ATR channel. Now I need to pull back into value, sideways movement, V1, V2. MasterCard had this big couple days down. We have rallied, but it seems very range bound. Rejected the positive 1 ATR channel. Very likely we could have a lower high if we go down tomorrow. So nothing on MasterCard for me. McDonald's, I'm waiting for a pullback to the 30 RSI. If we could get back down here, then we would have a double bottom with the bullish divergence. Look how deep these bars are. We rallied, got a little green now. If we could come back down, test this low, we'd have a double bottom with a bullish divergence. And ideally, if we could get down to 30 RSI, that would be the sweet spot. So nothing quite yet on McDonald's. Altria, strong above the 1 ATR channel, looking for a pullback. Merck. You know, we went above the 1 ATR channel. We came back into value. We did stabilize for a couple days. We did have a V2 back here a few days ago. See day 1, day 2 washes out day 1, day 3 closed above day 1. It didn't take that trade, but it looks like it probably was a pretty good idea. But I don't like how it's off of its high here. It did break through all the moving averages, which is positive. We are above 50, but I am concerned about these two big monster bars here. So I'm going to let that one go. Microsoft up a little bit today, up in the nosebleed levels, need to pull back to value. Netflix just kind of moving sideways there. I'd like to see it pull back deeper into value, sideways movement, look for a V1, V2. We did buy it back here on the 29th when we had the 5 EMA cross over the 20 EMA. Moved up very nicely for us the next day, took some profits, then a couple of sideways down. Next day had some nice profits as well, then a couple days down. And then the day that I sold it, we had a couple nice profit targets up here, and then I got out of it because of this bearish reversal and false breakout to the upside. So I did get out here, but I did get out of some up here. And then, you know, after that, after I sold it, it went up for a couple days and now back down. But I think we got the meat of it. So that was a good trade. But at this point, need to pull back into value. Wow. Nike was doing much better earlier today. A lot of sideways movement. You know, when you have sideways movement, eventually that's going to break one way or the other. We just don't know when or in what direction. Earlier today, it looked like it was breaking to the upside. Now it looks like, you know, look at this V1. See this V1 to the downside? Here's day 1. Obviously today washed out day 1, and it looks like it's closing below day 1. And it also looks like it's closing below 50. So, not going to do anything with this, but this looks pretty shorty to me. I'll tell you what, this sideways motion, the stab up, and then the complete reversal. Yeah, that looks pretty shorty to me. I'm not going to short this, but I'll do a pretend short right here for tomorrow. Just pretend, because that does look pretty shorty. But again, I'm not taking this for real. This is just for example's sake. The washout bar, my stop on this would be halfway right here. That would be my stop. And then to the downside, I would be targeting probably down here. 100-day or 200-day and the 30 RSI. This is what would be my profit target area down here. So this is just for fun, but that does look pretty good actually. But I'm not going to short this. It's just a demo trade. Philip Morris chugging up there. Need to pull back to value. PayPal, we talked about that yesterday. Did take that V1, had that nice one-day trade, rejected the 50, so I went ahead and got out. And we are rallying back here, but nothing on PayPal. The Qs, looks like we did reject the 70 RSI and the third ATR channel. That's not very good. If I was in this trade, for whatever reason, I would be getting out here. Silver, I'm looking for a 30 RSI. 30 RSI 200-day confluence would be outstanding. SPY, we had the overnight SPY trade. That was profitable, 40 cents per share, so that's good. I will be buying this again at the end of the day. Yes, bonds are starting to stabilize here for sure. What I'd really like to see on bonds, now that we're moving sideways, I'd like to see one day down and then reverse back up under the third ATR channel back over, but not enough there yet for me. Tesla, good day today, just too high, need to pull back into value. Twitter, my gosh, I mean, look at this chart, guys. I mean, you know, there's definitely some buying. It's keeping us going sidewards, but yeah, and we're to 21 RSI, so looks like MACD might be close to crossing here. Imagine this thing's going to break one way or the other. I just don't know if it's going to be down or up and when it's going to happen, but it will happen. One of those scenarios. United Health Group, need to pull back into value. Oil rallied, reversed. You know, we have not been respecting this 200-day at all. Under, over, under, over, under. VIX, so right now we're at 29.59. I will be getting out of this today if we close under the 30 for a small loss. And then if it closes back up again, I will go ahead and buy it back. Verizon, moving sideways, nothing there. Walmart, nothing there. Energy Select, nothing there. Financials needs to pull back into value. Real estate, I was interested in buying real estate. See how we came down, kind of like I was just talking about bonds. We came down, sideways, 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 sideways. Do you see how today, earlier in the day, that's why I drew this line, we had a V1. Here's day one. We washed out day one, and earlier today, looks like we were going to close above day one. That I would have taken that trade because of this nice sidewards movement at the third ATR channel. And nice, but this is why I wait till the end of the days, guys and girls, because I have to see if this is going to confirm at the end of the day. If I would have taken this intraday, I may have gone up, but I would have to get out now at the end of the day because it's not closing above. So that's why I like to just wait till the end of the day. Conversely, if it goes down tomorrow under 30, over 30, I'd also buy it. XLU, nothing there. I did buy it here with the rejection of the third, rejection of the 100, the close above. Had to get out yesterday, the very next day for a small loss because the 100 was my line in the sand. So, you know, these kind of losses are just totally fine, right? You put your toe in the water, you see if it looks good. The next day it had closed back above, I would have kept it, but because it closed under, I just get out, take my loss, and forget about it. And healthcare. All right, I did have a couple more. I went through some other. Okay, so. See, the problem with this one, though, is we closed under the 1 ATR channel. If you close under the 1 ATR channel, you want to see a rally back in, then a couple days down, then a V1, V2. This is a pretty sweet V1 right here today. And I do like that we washed out all these previous lows today and reversed back up. Home Depot, nothing there. IBM. Nothing there. Johnson & Johnson, of course we have. If we close under 130, 133, I have to get out. Nike, pretend short trade. Procter and Gamble, I would take this V1 here. We closed below the 1 ATR channel, rallied back in. If Procter and Gamble closed above yesterday's close, I would take this, but it's not there yet. Travelers, no. Oh, what I wanted to show you on Travelers, this is a good example of coming from a lower low into the value zone, now a couple days down, and a V1, V2 higher low would be fantastic there. And then real estate doesn't look like it's going to. So with that being said, let me quickly go over here. Hey, David from Vix Crush, how you doing, bud? Good to see you. Have to agree with you on most of this stuff. So hard to buy this stuff and harder even to sell it. Let's take, say, Tesla. What do you want to do? I just want to get out of the way. Best of luck. Yeah, I'm just out of the way on most of this stuff. I'm interested in your thoughts on W. How are we doing on time? All right, we got 4 minutes. It's a higher low. It's a higher low V2. It looks pretty good to me, actually. Wait, who wrote that? Gosh, why did I lose that? Oh, W. Yeah, I like that. Under the third, over the third, V1, higher low V1, low RSI, good risk reward. I like it. CAG. Yeah, I don't like that because this bar is too big. You had a V1 yesterday, but it's too big of a bar. Here's Dollar Tree for Wayne. Yeah, I would like to see this go under 30 back over 30, Wayne. And it hasn't quite got under 30. I'd like, if tomorrow we had a V1 under 30, we went under 30 back over 30, we had a V1 and we closed back above the 100 in the third, then I would like it. All right, sorry, I've got to get onto this. All right, I'm gonna take Chipotle off because of the rejection of that 1 ATR channel and the pin bar reversal. So I am going to take that off. Great trade, 2% trade, 1 day, so pretty nice. Johnson & Johnson, oh, that's going to be close. 131.33. SPY, of course, overnight SPY trade. We're going to have VIX. I'm going to have to watch that very carefully. All right, so we have 3 minutes. It's going to be tricky to get this done. All right. I'm going to go ahead and sell my VIX. Okay. It might rally over. If it does, oh well. What can I do? Johnson & Johnson right there, 131.33. Okay, we have 1 minute. Well, it's right there. It's right on the edge. Now it's above. Now it's above. Now it's above. All right, so CMG is gonna sell at the end of the day. Ooh, that Johnson & Johnson's right on the bubble. Well, it's above now. It held. It held. So I am going to hold it. CMG, I did get out. Today's close above yesterday's close, but underneath yesterday's open. So anyway, that was a great trade. Happy with that. Thanks a lot, Wayne. Appreciate you pointing that out. That was, but this is a great example of the trifecta of a deep dip buy, right? Under 30, over 30. Under the third ATR channel, over the third ATR channel. Balance of the 200 and a false breakout from this range back up in. So couldn't be more happy with that. Thank you very much, Wayne. All right, so we're out of there. Johnson & Johnson just barely kept us in. SPY, we got filled at 309 even. Well, that seems like a bad fill. 308.94. All right. So there's our new overnight SPY trade right there. Bump. And VIX did close under the 30, so I got out. Wow, pretty light here, everybody. I've got Johnson & Johnson and the overnight SPY trade, and that is it. That is it. That's about the lightest I've been in quite a while, but nice green day today. Happy for that. So, all right. Hey, listen, I'm going to get to your comments and questions now, and hopefully I can answer them and at least shed some light on something, right? But before I do, I just want to quickly put in my quick daily plug, let everybody know that I do offer private one-on-one coaching, teaching, and mentoring lessons. I really do enjoy teaching. I have a course. It's 5 2-hour live one-on-one sessions with me. It's just one-on-one. It's very intensive. And what I teach here, I hope you definitely are learning something. I hope it's valuable. But the one-on-one courses really are a lot more involved. They're a lot more intense. Generally the first part of each lesson, I do the teaching, but the second part of the lesson, we do a lot of chart study. I have you break the charts back down to me. I have you teach back to me what I've taught you. But, in that 10-hour course, I will teach you what I have learned over the last 24 years, studying with some famous traders and authors and my own experience as well. So I think it's very valuable. It's $1,000, but, I think it is a good investment. I've really never had any client yet that has not been happy that they've done it. So if you're interested, it generally starts with just a free kind of interview, double interview. You can interview me, I can interview you. I like to know more about you, how you got into trading, what your challenges are, what your goals are, and then I'll put together a specific course based upon what your goals are. So if you're interested, you've been thinking about it, please reach out to me and we can just schedule that Skype call, just get to know each other a little bit better. And I do want to point out that, after the Skype call, if you don't feel like it's fit, no obligation whatsoever, right? I mean, sometimes people just aren't a fit, but at least we can kind of kick the tires on each other and see if it's something we want to do moving forward. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me. My email's in the description, and then you can also send me a message on Twitter. And then also, guys, if you like this podcast and haven't subscribed, I would appreciate it if you would. And if you could hit the thumbs up button, I would really, really, really appreciate that. It does help promote the channel out there on YouTube. And there's a lot of people that need help with trading. They need some, good examples to follow. They need to learn, about support, resistance, risk reward, all the stuff we do here. So if you could hit the thumbs up button, I really would appreciate it. All right. So Jesse says, caught the bounce on Starbucks. Caught the bounce of Starbucks today. Small positions. All positions are small at this point, and got out near the high today. Entered yesterday and slowly making up a bad 5-trade HD and HD. Okay, so you caught the bounce on Starbucks today and got out near the high today. Entered yesterday. Okay, good. So you entered yesterday. So let's look at yesterday. What was yesterday? It was a little bit of a V1, not a fantastic one because we didn't wash out, but technically it was. Closed back above the 200-day moving average, which is good, and it was a higher low. See how this low is lower? This is a higher low V1 break back above the 200-day moving average, giving a good risk to reward. And Jesse got out near the high. So, did reject the 20-day moving average. So anyway, fantastic. Good job, Jess. So 5, yeah. I think Jesse took this V2 here, higher low V2, which is fine. However, on V2s, if you have a gap day, it's generally probably best to pass. Here's day 1, day 2 washes out day 1, day 3 closes above day 1, but the V2 happened with the gap. And like I was mentioning on Chipotle, a lot of time that gap likes to get filled, and that's what happened. Let's Home Depot. Yeah, Home Depot is interesting, Jess. We did have this lower high, and remember, if you have a lower high, you have to wash out that low. Well, we did wash out the low technically here today. And then we had a V2. And this actually is sidewards movement. So yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Your risk would be a halfway of the washout bar right here. It did close above 50. That is good. I think what concerned me were these two big bars here. And then Pfizer. Yeah, actually. Yeah, shoot. I wish I would have looked at that earlier, Jesse. I do like that. I mean, we were above the 1 ATR channel. We did come back in. We went down. We held sideways for a couple days. Small bar here on the day 1. Today we had a V1. We washed out yesterday's low. We closed above yesterday's close. We closed above the 50. And, who knows this is going to go up or not, but it does give you a good risk to reward because today's the washout bar. Any close below halfway of this bar is your loss, relatively small. And if it does continue to swing back up, you have a great risk to reward. So yeah, good job, Jess. Good analysis. Bing He, Greg, have you ever explore this thing called copy trading? I am not too sure about this, but seems like if your skill is good, you can let people copy your trade and earn some money. No, I have never heard of that, Bing He. Sounds interesting. Yeah, I've never heard. Thanks for coming though, Bing He. Appreciate it. And Vix Crush. Hey, if you guys haven't subscribed to Vix Crush on Twitter, on YouTube, you should. This is David. He does a lot with options, and I listened to one of his podcasts yesterday, as a matter of fact, on YouTube. Have to agree with you on most of this stuff. So hard to buy this stuff and harder even to sell. Let's take Tesla. What do you want to do? I just want to get out of the way. Best of luck, Dave. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate coming by. Evan says, interested in thoughts, okay, on W. So we did look at W. I do like that higher low V1, V2, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 2 washes out day 1 today, closed above day 1. So do we think it's going to go up? I have no idea, but does it make sense from a risk to reward standpoint? Yes, it does. Close below halfway of the washout bar makes sense. Gives you a small loss. 33.83 RSI gives you some good upside potential. Till you start getting near the 50. So yeah, I do like that. Yeah, and then CAG, I didn't like that one. It is a higher low V1 in the value zone, but this bar is too large for me here. Yeah, and then Dollar Tree, Wayne, I'd like to see this go under 30, back over 30, maybe under this channel 100-day moving average, back over. Ideally, I'd like to see it go under 30, back over 30, under the 100, back over the 100, under the third ATR channel, back over the third. So Right yet, I just don't think it's enough. Dr. Long says, looking at cheap puts on EMR, it's up on ROK. Yeah, I imagine they're pretty cheap up there. Still above the 70 RSI, which is a little concerning to me. I tend not to short anything or buy puts on anything when it's over the 70 because it's parabolic and it's very strong. Frank says, trade less, make more works. Yeah, I agree. You don't have to trade a lot, guys. It's fine to sit in cash, sit on the side, you know, wait for the trade to come to you. You know, one of the great things that Alexander Elder taught me was, you know, look off into the future. Look where the price is now. Look for something that you would really like to see happen. Like, okay, McDonald's is a good example. You know, I talked about this earlier in the podcast. If we can come back down here to a 30 RSI, it's going to be down around this range. 30 RSI is good, but in addition, we would have a double bottom with a bullish divergence. Here's a low, we have a rally, we would make a lower low, we would have very shallow red bars, if at all bars. So we would have a double bottom with the bullish divergence and another test of the 30. So is it there yet? No, it's not there yet. But when I think about this trade, when I think about in the future, I'm very objective. You know, it feels right. Double bottom, test of the 30, positive bullish MACD divergence. Is it there yet? No. But, you know, this is what I'm waiting for. I think the most clearly on this trade right now because I'm not in the position. So, you know, look at a chart and go, boy, if that and that and that happened, that would be fantastic. But you don't do it now. You just say that would be fantastic. And then if it gets there, then you've already thought this through objectively, then take your trade. So yeah, good green day today. Good green day today. Thanks to Chipotle and Wayne, and thanks to the S&P, and then had a small loss on VIX and and Johnson & Johnson down a little bit today, but still positive for us on our trades. So yeah, 2 positions. Wow. So Frank and Dr. Long had some monsters today. Fantastic. And then Johnny, he's not here today, but Johnny has some monsters also. Jesse says, I ended up passing on PFE. Didn't like that it rejected the 5 and the 10. And on my chart, I didn't feel the washout was enough. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see your point. The washout really was not a quarter ATR. You know, on V1s and V2s, ideally you want to have a minimum of a quarter ATR. From here to here is a 1 ATR. From here to here is half. From here to here is a quarter. So about this much. Did we wash out this much from there? No, we didn't. No, we didn't. So good non-trade on that, Jess. I think that's smart. Jackson says, getting better at those end of day decisions, Greg. Had a conditional order in for Johnson & Johnson, so I could just sit back and let that one play. And of course, stayed in. Also, thanks for helping us not to burn extra calories. Burning those calories, right? Well, that's good. So it sounds like those conditional orders are working out. I mean, that's the thing. Sometimes you have 2-3 positions and they're right on the bubble. They're, just right close to what your stops are. And then what do you do at the end of the day if you have 3 positions that you have to work with? I mean, you can't do them all at the same time, right? I mean, with 1 second to go. So you kind of have to prioritize them and, maybe start with 5 minutes to go or 3 minutes to go. And sometimes you don't have to do anything. You just sit back. But, there's those days where you get all those positions and decisions you have to make at the very end of the day. And you just do your best. So the Dow ended even. The Dow ended even. NASDAQ was up 0.25%. And the S&P was up 0.16%. And thanks again, Jackson, for that video that you sent, that second video that you sent on TradeView on setting that up. That was very helpful. I appreciate that. And I owe you, man. And I owe Jesse too for all the help that he gave me with the indicators for Thinkorswim. I have a client right now that uses Thinkorswim, and so and TradeView, and Jesse and Jackson were nice enough to send me some indicators and some instructions on it so I could help her get her chart set up better or correctly. So yeah, having a lesson with her tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. She's been doing really well. It's our first lesson. And so I'm looking forward to that. Jesse says, got to run, folks. Have a great night, morning all. Thanks as always for this channel, Greg. Coolest group on YouTube here. Hey, thanks, Jess. Appreciate it. Be careful out there and have a good day. Okay. Jesse's in law enforcement. That's why I say stay careful out there. Frank says, when waiting and discipline pays off, it feels like a million, even if it's only a few bucks. Boy, that's true. Isn't that true, Frank? It's underrated too. Just waiting and having the discipline. It's totally underrated. It's very important. All right, so I took my pretend short on Nike today with this sidewards movement, move up, rejection of these highs, V1 to the downside under the 30. So I didn't take this for real, but sometimes it's fun to take simulated trades and see what happens. So let's see where the S&P, so the S&P did end over 70, so that is positive. Q's ended under 70. Dow ended just over 70. So all in all, I mean, we're definitely in an uptrend here, right? Just extended, that's the problem. Evan says, how does it feel to have so few positions right now? You know, Evan, that's a good question. I think human nature, when you don't have any positions, you're like, sure, the market's just going to go rocketing up, right? But I just think that's human nature. At least maybe that's how I think. But if I take the objective view and look at this market, it's overextended. It's at high RSI levels. Is it more likely to go up and down? Probably, but you know, I have to stick with my plan. I have to have good risk to reward ratios, and I don't have them up here. And you know, if you do have filters and you have parameters and you have rules, and all those rules get you out of almost all of your positions and the market goes up, yeah, it's unfortunate. right? It's unfortunate, but you can take some consolidation in that you did follow your rules. But, this market will pull back eventually. We'll get the pullbacks that we want. But it is very satisfying at the same time if you have, very small positions or few positions, and then the market does come back down. So it feels okay. I mean, it feels okay. I guess the way I look at it is if the market does keep going up, I have Johnson & Johnson and I have SPY. But I do know that, a lot of mom pa traders, a lot of retail traders, a lot of people that are reading the headlines, newspapers, on the internet, TV, they hear that the market's making new highs and they're like, ooh, I better get in. And time after time after time, those are generally places probably it was not good to get in. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Jackson says, I really like this way of thinking. By the way, Flo says hi. Ah, she's your trading partner. Tell Flo hello. You got a partner. Fantastic. Jackson brings up a good point. It's a great idea to have a trading partner. Even if that trading partner is your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife or your brother or your sister. Let me tell you something. If you have to be responsible to someone, it's going to change the way your trading is. I promise you. If you don't have to be responsible to anybody, you can just fall off the wagon and go off the reservation. But if you literally have someone, if you tell someone, hey, see this trade? If it goes down below here, I have to get out. And of course, you're going to do it because there's somebody watching, or you're kind of responsible to someone. So I think it's a great idea to have some kind of trading partner. Let that partner know what you're doing. Let them know the trades you're in. Where you're supposed to get out if you're wrong, and it will move you to follow your rules more. I promise you it will. Jackson says she probably trades as much as Katie, but I'm responsible to her. Is it your cat? Is it your cat? Is Flo your cat? Murat says it is easier to catch if the market rockets up. Not at this level, though. I am always very careful when I have short crude oil position overnight. You never know what happens to push the oil prices up. Yes, that's true. That's true, Murat. Frank says, when you're in tune with the market, you're in it even when you have no stocks. Ah, interesting. That is true. That is very true, Frank. Mert says, when I am long in crude, am not worried. If I put president's tweet aside, this is very rare, which can adversely affect the oil price at large scale. They cannot find an ocean of new oil overnight. Oh, that's true. That's true. So when I am long in crude, you're not worried. Okay. If I put the president's tweets aside, it's very rare, which can adversely affect the oil at large scale. Okay, so I understand. So you kind of feel like there's a little bit of a floor in oil, right, Murat? Is that what you're saying? Jackson says, in fact, she is reading Trading in the Zone from the basis of the mentality and to keep me in check in case I start talking rubbish. Okay, your girlfriend, not your cat. All right. You related her to Katie, so you kind of see where I was going. So, right, your girlfriend. Keep your girlfriend up to date what you're doing, Jackson. I promise you it will help you. I don't know when and where, but it will help you if you at least have to be responsible to her and that somebody's looking over your shoulder. You're going to be a better boy, right? You're going to be a better boy if you have to be responsible to someone. All right. So Jackson, thank you, sir, for coming. Appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. Please say hello to Flo, and keep me in the loop. Let me know what's going on with your trades. Murat, thank you, sir. Hope you have a good evening. Have a good walk with the dog. Frank, thank you for coming. Always good to see you. Hope you come back, and thanks for the good trading words of wisdom today. And Evan, hope that answered your question about my positions. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. And appreciate you coming back. Jesse, thank you. I think he already ran, but thanks a lot, bud. Appreciate it. Wayne, great. Great call yesterday on Chipotle. That was a great trade for me. So thank you for pointing that out. But yeah, I mean, that was a great setup. That was a fantastic setup, and I'm glad you did well on it as well. Dr. Long, thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming by, and hope you keep coming back. David from VIX Crush, thank you for coming by. If you guys haven't checked out VIX Crush, do so. Bing He, interesting about that copy trading. Interesting concept. I've never heard that, but I hope you have a good day there in Singapore. Marco, good to see you, sir. If you have any trades going on or you have any questions or anything, let me know. I'd be interested in know what's going on with you. Let's see. William, good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Say hello to Cooper for me. And I think that is everybody for today. All right. Well, listen. Murat says, yes, that is true. It's safer to have a long crude position overnight than a short. Anything can happen overnight. A sinking tanker can push the price. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Going to go out, go hike. Do have a lesson tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. And, oh, Murat says, eToro is a big platform for copy trading. All right. I'm going to have to check that out. eToro. So I can understand it better. So, all right. Have a good rest of your day. Go out and do something nice for somebody. And hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow, right? During the last hour of the market. Take care, everybody. Bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and Forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.